get captured in the Assembly's expenditure arrangements. So if the auditors come and you have no store receipt covering that thing, that will be indicated as an infraction. But there are human beings who are involved in the process. So you have the chief executive, you have the coordinating director, you have the finance officer, you have the stores, the officers, and all of them. What would be able to handle these issues so that we won't have a repetition of them is for these officers of the assemblies to play the rules as they know by way of the rules that have been laid down for the implementation of those things.
So that's the local government minister there, Kwesi Boateng Ejay, blaming weak supervision for most of the problems that we have in the assemblies. Mr. J is on the line with me. Sir, thank you very much for your time this evening here on News Night. You speak of weak supervision. Well, that's the problem, and that's why you are there. What have you done about this problem?
Oh, we have had a number of engagements with chief executives, particularly the new ones who were, in fact, the present crop of chief executives, when they were appointed, we took them through an orientation program and we exposed them to the requirements under the law, the financial issues and other issues. We took them through all those issues so that they would be equipped with the skills to be able to handle these issues at the assembly level. So, in terms of what the ministry is doing, the ministry on regular basis take reports from the assemblies. We also dispatch our staff to go there and do on-the-spot checks when issues are brought to our knowledge or our notice. Besides that, the regional coordinating councils are also tasked to be able to handle some coordination at that level, to be able to follow through some of these problems so that we can reduce to a barest minimum these infractions. So these are things that are already in place and we are working on it. In fact, presently we have tasked our audit unit here to look at the report of the Auditor General and to pick up the issues and then for us to follow up on them before even the Public Accounts Committee takes a look at some of these reports.
So it appears, and this is no news to a lot of Ghanaians, that there are significant loopholes in the system which a lot of people have learned to get around, and they're using that to rob the state of millions of cedis. This government, which you're under which you're serving, is one of the loudest when it comes to digitization. What are you doing about exploring that avenue to block some of these loopholes?
Well, I think that is also, if we're able to do that, if we're able to use digitization to curtail some of these things, it will go a long way to addressing these problems. As far as digitization is concerned, we are looking at it. Presently, we are working with GIZ to be able to handle even the revenue generation so that we'll be able to control. Because even some of these infractions take place at the level of revenue collection. Because if people collect those monies and they declare the monies which have been collected, that is also a matter that will become a subject matter for review as we get along. So we have started a process of digitization with revenue collection and revenue reporting. If we want to look at getting to the full hog and ensure that every kind of expenditure is handled that way, that will require some bit of time and some effort by way of resources. But I think that gradually we have to get to that point where we'll be able to reduce the human interface to be able to address some of these problems. But even at the national level, GIFMIS is working at looking at how these things can also be introduced into the system so that we can cut away the human interface. I'm sure if we're able to do that, we'll be able to reduce the occurrence of these infractions.
Well, I'm just wondering how long it will have to take us to get there, because the cutting out human interaction has been something that the previous administration preached. You are preaching the same. Where really are we, and how far are we to where we want to be?
I do know that under the gift arrangement, a lot of work has been done in this area, and I think very soon we'll be able to get to the point where some of these payments will be digitized.
All right, so you had the Deputy Local Government Minister, Mr. J. Boateng. Thank you very much for joining us here on Newsnight. But let's listen to the Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo. He says the contract for sales scandal that rocked the Public Procurement Authority would not have happened if there was no collusion and fraud. Mr. Domelevo believes internal auditors at the ministries, departments and agencies where the contracts emanated should have flagged the Talents Discovery Limited company as lacking capacity to execute the jobs they won. The company, owned partly by suspended PPA CEO Ejidin Boateng Ejay, was cited in the documentary for allegedly engaged in the sale of government contracts. Speaking to Evans Mensah on PM Express, Mr. Domelevo said the company should have been blocked during the bidding process.
I'm not condemning them that they don't care. They care, but the speed at which we are moving, it begs the question. We have to be up and doing. I'll be highly disappointed if by the end of this year, we don't have a new law to change the face of internal auditing.
Uncle Dan, were you surprised to learn that contracts were actually allegedly being sold?
Very surprised in the sense that we don't just award contract to people. Before you win government job, we'll have at times done even expression of interest, request for proposal, request for qualification, etc. And as at now, let's forget about the approvals at PPA end. Before we choose who wins the job, we'll have done evaluation. And that evaluation, we look at the competencies, your experience. So to come to hear that a firm which has not done any job at all before, a firm which is barely 1 year old, is getting some type of jobs. The question I asked myself was, do they have internal audit? Because if they had internal auditors, they could have gone through and said that, look, we can't shortlist these guys. Because they don't have the muscles. They don't have what it takes to do it.
So you heard that the Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo, speaking to Evans Mensah on PM Express, and gives you this is one of the issues we've been following keenly, especially following that investigative piece by Manasseh as well. When it doesn't appear this issue is going away anytime soon.
Certainly not. And one of the things that perhaps we should be doing is about checking out the punishment regime, whether or not it's punitive enough to stop this. But right now, well, let's do some politics.
Absolutely.
It must feel exciting to go back to your home region. But for the former president, he is going to start the campaign for 2020, it looks like. Well, former President John Dramani Mahama has expressed worry over government's failure to continue the Community Day Senior High School at Mpaha in the Central Gonja district. The former president finds it disappointing that a project which could transform education in the area is left to rot under this current administration.
The former president is currently touring his home region, the Savannah area, and our correspondent Isaac Nonya followed up, and here's what he brought to us as way of soundbites. Mr. Mahama has been speaking to residents in the area.
In my rounds, touring the communities and the country, I have often drawn attention to the criminal abandonment of projects. And this is one very good example. I mean, almost complete full secondary school, community day school. You can even see fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers have been installed. I mean, ready to go. This is, I remember, it's one of the World Bank funded projects that we got. There were 23 of them, and then the remaining number of 100 we were funding, through government resources. And if you go around the country, you'll find them at different stages of completion. Some have almost been completed, and yet they remain unoccupied. I mean, if you look at the children in that community and surrounding communities, they have to travel, several kilometers to go and get a secondary education, when a whole secondary school is just at their doorsteps. It just needs a little more to complete it, and then children would have gone into them. There are some that I know that have been completed. It's just left to filling it with the children, but government has not done what it takes. The 1992 Constitution enjoins all succeeding governments in the Fourth Republic to continue the projects that it inherits from the preceding administration. It doesn't look like this government, is respecting, that aspect of our constitution, because it's not only schools. I mean, hospitals. There were several hospitals started all over the country that have been abandoned. There are several road projects, there are water projects, electrification projects have all been abandoned. And when that happens, it's just a waste of the taxpayers' money, because this is a loan that we're giving. Government is going to pay the loan, and yet we are not getting the benefit of what this school should have offered the community.
So that is former President John Dramani Mahama there, who is on a 2-day thank you tour in his home region, the Savannah region. We'll be returning to the northern part of the country shortly, but right now let's go to the Volta regional capital, Ho.
And absolutely, an issue about water is causing many residents in the capital to resort to some unwholesome sources of water. We are told boreholes and streams for survival, just because some pipelines were affected as a result of the rising levels of water of the Okrofo River there. Now, the residents were compelled some 2 weeks ago to resort to these water sources. We'll hear from the Ghana Water Company, which has announced that it's begun some repair works on the transmission lines shortly. But here's a report first filed by my correspondent, Mauli Evuagbi, from the area.
It is AD 2019, and the popular yellow liter gallons, known as 4 gallons, have again become a regular feature across the whole municipality due to the shortage of water. The shortage is said to be the worst in over 30 years. The situation is having a toll on productivity as workers are forced to queue for hours to fetch water from these streams, wells, boreholes, and any available sources of water.
We've been roaming. See, I just fill my tank with petrol, and then I drive around and find where I can get water, and that's it. Last week Saturday, if I go to work, I go to work, say maybe 10, 11, because I have 3 kids in the house, and I have to get water to bath them, take them to class, and come to work. If the water I got in the morning is not sufficient, well, forgive me, but I get to close a bit early. You see, I leave like 2, 3, because when you come here, that 2, 3, you're lucky you leave around 6, 7 p.m.
Households are under pressure as chores that require water are deferred, with serious implications for sanitation and hygiene.
If you have extra water, you'll be thinking about how to go to the washroom. How are we going to flush? After flushing, we'll get water to bath, for the kids, to cook. I don't even use the water to cook. I used to wash. And the washing too, unless you buy Omo before you can have the soapy water. And other than that, you wouldn't get anything.
Taxi drivers are cashing in on the situation as helpless residents seek their services to get some gallons of water. Efforts by the Ghana Water Company to resolve the challenge has even resulted in the death of a technician. The deceased got drowned in the Chawe River, close to where the broken pipeline was.
It's unfortunate. One of the pipeline that comes all the way from Peve through the Bami Reservoir to the whole municipality and its environs was washed away at Okrofo. There's a big river there, and the pipe is supported on the piers, concrete pillars. On the 18th or so, I think the level went very high, and then it washed away the pillars. As a result, it collapsed the pipe. Unfortunately, we don't have the materials at that time, so we have to look for it from all of our systems. We are all waiting. We started pumping yesterday, and we are monitoring the situation and see if the situation will be stabilized.
Residents are getting worried as they say all the sources of water they are resorting to are drying up.
Maoli Yevu Agbe's report read to you by Nancy Emefa Dradosi. Well, that's a problem that the Ghana Water Company Limited says it is solving. Well, it's responded to the concerns of the residents. In a statement, the company says it has collaborated with the regional authorities to complete the repair works on the transmission plant to enable the resumption of water supply to the whole municipality. It ended by saying government is currently sourcing for funding for the rehabilitation and expansion of the Kpeve treatment plant to serve the growing population of Ho and a new plant to serve the Hohoe municipality.
Let's speak now to the Ho Municipal Chief Executive, John Nelson Akoli. He joins us here on Newsnight. Thank you very much, Mr. Akoli, for your time. Fair to say that this situation has reached crisis levels. Nearly 2 weeks, no safe water for your people. Hello, Mr. Akoli.
Hello.
Grateful you could join us tonight here on Newsnight. I was asking, safe to say it's a crisis situation because nearly 2 weeks, no safe water for your people?
Well, it is true. But as we speak now, all the taps in town are running. As I'm speaking to you now, all the taps in town are running. So there's no more problem.
Okay, and it took 2 weeks to fix this problem?
Yes, it really didn't take 2 weeks. It has to do with concrete work also. And, concrete work must take at least some time to set and harden properly before it can be disturbed or loaded. So, but the genesis of the whole thing is, the pipe, it was carried, or is being carried by a pier through the river also, from the supply point, that is Peve, through to Akrofu to Ho. Now, along the line, there's a stream or a river. So the pipeline was connected. The bridge was carrying the pipeline. And so the pier that was holding or supporting the pipeline, the river actually caused the collapse of the pier, and it affected the pipe. Now, we didn't have the machinery to do the work properly. So the region here in Ho had to contact Cape Coast, Central Region. Then quickly they responded by sending the machinery and then the experts to come and fix the problem for us. In the course of doing the work, an unfortunate incident happened. One of the workers decided to swim in the river or the stream and got drowned. When you are on site and such an incident happens, it affects the morale of the people. And then police investigation and all of those things. So work stalled for some 2 days. Right. So when they finally fixed the problem, because of the pressure, like we are also showing concern, because of the pressure of the demand for the water, they were compelled against technical advice to actually open the valve for water to run. But because the concrete base, that is the pier supporting the pipeline, it has not set and hardened properly, it gave way again. Okay, that also contributed to the problem. But finally, they had to resort to the use of this rapid hardening cement. That was what they used. And so it had to set after some 3 days properly. So as we speak, the valve was open yesterday. And by today, every part of the municipality is having water. In fact, yesterday, those in the valley and along the road along the way to Ho, the towns along the way to Ho, they had water. And today, as we speak, every tap is I'm still in the office. So if I can open my tap in the office for you to know that, yes, truly, all the taps are running in town.
Mr. Colley, you say the taps are running. We are happy to learn that the taps are flowing and the residents of the municipality have water. But we understand that this was primarily caused by the overflowing of the river Akrofu, which, destroyed the transmission plant. Is this problem fixed once and for all?
No, we are not even in that kind of rainy season. So that assertion is not correct.
We are grateful you could join us.
That assertion is not correct.
The problem has been fixed once and for all. Whether what has been done is temporary or is it a permanent fixture of the problem?
Yeah, it's a permanent fixation because Now that we have used appropriate, cement, like I said, for the concrete work, is that this rapid hardening cement is now used, and so it is fixed. The only thing I'm also advising my people is that we also want to cultivate the culture of harvesting water, so that in the event of something like this happening, we'll be using that until the problem is fixed. A population like whole municipality should not rely solely on a company like this. So in the event of an incident like this will solve the suffering. So at least has gone down well with the people. And during the course of the shortage of water, so to say, the assembly has been supplying water to some institutions in the town. For example, the Whole Teaching Hospital, the Municipal Assembly, the Slaughterhouse, the Smith Flats, the VRCC, that's the residency. So we try to put these measures in town. And God so good, we have draw-off points in town, these boreholes that are mechanized. So, somebody may say drivers are taking advantage, but under the circumstance, what can we do? So this was what happened between the collapse and now that it has been fixed. So I would say yes, it has been fixed permanently, but we should also cultivate the culture of conserving and preserving water, harvesting at least rainwater, so that we are not taken over by events such as this.
Grateful, Mr. Nelson Akoli, for joining us. He's the Municipal Chief Executive for the whole municipality, speaking to us there.
Welcome. Now let's get some confirmation from our correspondent, Maoli Yevu Agbe. Hello, Maoli.
Hello, good evening.
Maoli, the MCE just tells us the water is flowing. Is that the situation on the ground?
I must say that there are few parts of town that water has started flowing, especially the areas that are in the valley, at the very entrance of where the water was supposed to enter the municipality. So areas like the market area, Anglokoji, Bankwe, and Agokoji, those areas, water has started flowing. But that is just about one of the whole of the municipality. So as of now, the higher areas, the higher grounds have not received water. And according to the Ghana Water Company, that could take a day or two. So hopefully by Friday, every other part of the municipality should receive water.
Thank you very much, Maoli Yevu Agbe is a Volta regional correspondent there. Well, if you live in this area, tell us what your own situation or what your own reality is. Send us a message on 0244 340 437. That's 0244 340 437. Drop us a WhatsApp message and let's see whether or not what the MC is saying is reflecting in your case.
Well, let's do some other stories now. And the Northern Regional Security Council has deployed a combined team of allied security agencies to increase surveillance in the metropolis. Now, the Northern Regional Minister Salifu Said today declared war on crime following the spate of car snatching incidents in the metropolis. The region has witnessed a number of communal clashes in the recent past, with the latest occurring in Karaga yesterday.
Briefing the media in Tamale, Mr. Said warned by the time they are done with the operation, the northern region would become one of the unattractive zones for criminals.
As the chairman of the Northern Regional Security Council, I am very happy that the media, you are asking to know what is happening with regards to the Operation Come Live that was launched, and it made a very significant impact. So down that the criminals, when we came in, when they see that the security people are able to get their strategies to be able to defeat them in certain moves, they relocate to plan and launch back. We've seen that they have come back and there is a new phenomena of car snatching and other things, and the security, they've gone onto the drawing board. They've come out with new methodologies that they will use to use a holistic approach to address, be it car snatching, be it armed robbery, be it whatever. So you will see a very aggressive way of tackling the security, because we are not going to allow any individual or group of individuals who will engage in any criminal activities that will threaten lives and properties in this region.
Well, we know 65 houses and motorbikes were torched yesterday in Bagurugu in the Karaga district. Now, speaking on the issue, the Northern Regional Minister called on the police to arrest the perpetrators.
We had reports on some communal disagreements in the Sanargo municipal as well as Kumbungu Assembly areas, specifically between Gomo and Malshabu, and also only yesterday between Fulani communities and another ethnic groups in Bagurgu village in the Karga area. In all of this, there have been threats of destruction of lives and property, and indeed, in the Karga situation, a number of houses were burnt and properties destroyed. RESE condemns this later incident involving the destruction of property in Karga and calls for the apprehension of all those involved in that act.
Northern Regional Minister Salifu Said there.
We can now speak to the Northern Regional Police PRO, DSP Yusuf Tanko. Mr. Tanko, thank you for your time this evening here on Top Story. What's the status of investigations into the Bagurugu communal violence?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening to you and good evening to your listeners as well. The investigations are ongoing and the focus is to arrest the perpetrators of the act and ensure that they are prosecuted. But we need to understand that when situations happen like this, the suspects involved will not stay. They surely will seek for hideout somewhere. And we are trying to take pieces of intelligence that will lead us to them. And we are very poised on their arrest and prosecution because we think we have to set an example for others to learn from, so that tomorrow when they think of pursuing such an ungodly act, they will think twice.
And DSP Tanko, are you saying that no arrests have been made so far in relation to this particular incident?
Yeah, so far no arrest has been made because those persons who have been identified as having perpetrated the act has fled the community, and the police and other security agencies are on the ground trying to dig out their hideout so that they will be arrested.
Well, there have also been concerns that some of the residents have fled. What do we know about this?
Yeah, in the report that came last Saturday, it indicated that about 65 houses have been burnt. And you agree with me that those persons cannot continue to stay in that community, but they have to seek refuge with friends, family members elsewhere. So that is the reason for that. Because when they come back to Bakurugu, they have no places to put their head on.
And so do we have an idea how long it's going to take for any arrests to be made, DSP Tanko?
Yeah, we cannot give timelines, but we are assuring that we will put in frantic effort to ensure that the perpetrators are arrested. Wherever they are, we will pick intelligence on them and we'll pursue them and have them arrested.
DSP Tanko speaks for the Northern Region Police Command. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
And still to come here on Newsnight.
Well, thank you very much, Araba. Good evening to all your viewers.
Thank you very much, and good evening to our listeners.
Well, good evening and good evening to your customers.
Radio and television courtesies that get presenters and anchors cringing on air during live interviews. We'll hear from some presenters here.
And we will return from the break, but still to come, GJA condemns attack on Adum TV correspondent in the OT region during the parliamentary primaries of the NDC over the weekend. Details when we return.
Well, interesting manners you're talking about. I mean, when you're on TV and you say that, welcome our listeners. And,
good evening to you and good evening to you.
And you're on radio and you're saying, I hope you're seeing this or you're watching this. You know, the simulcast and all those things.
And sometimes when it's a politician, they'll say, I'd like to greet my constituents and my
and those who are watching when the president is on radio, actually, because you think that there's a simulcast going on.
We'll hear more.
Well, coming up in business, Hotelier Association instruct members to fully comply with recent Bank of Ghana directive on pricing of all services and transactions in the Ghana city, and total foreign currency accounts held with banks reach a little over $4 billion ending June this year. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business, Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, and First National Bank. We are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank. How can we help you?
To promo we dey ayede. Sabi gusu yusu mi mumu no. If you say MTN Echima Chede no, e dey to table. Brand new Samsung 65-inch UHD Smart TV. Na brand new 2019 Hyundai. And I feel 3,000 Ghana there. You should say mono. MTN Momo. Still Misaka. The journey of 1,000 smiles. Yashasya 10 years ago. And to celebrate this milestone, MTN give you away exciting prizes in the MTN Momo at 10 promo. Yeah, you use Momo no. You could win one of the 2019 Hyundai i10 cars. Yes, some Samsung Smart TVs for baby. And they up to 3,000 CDs e-cash every month. And a grand prize, 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe in the MTN Momo at 10 promo. Into signing on and they keep using your MTN Momo. Now when you big, if it's Abri, I could see August only on Ghana's best network. Dial *120#. Now check your points. Terms and conditions apply. Just Momo it. We're there for you everywhere you go.
The Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited's Back to School promotion is here with us again. From the 1st of August to the 30th of September, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is giving a generous 10% discount on all school items like textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books, and much more across all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takoradi, and Cape Coast. Parents, teachers, and students, please hurry while stocks last. For more information, call us on 0302 764 101 or 0302-764-209 or email info@kingdomgh.com. You can also visit our website www.kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability are both assured. Terms and conditions apply.
Imagine living in a world of comfort and luxury. In a well-planned and gated community with access to an ultra-modern sports complex which has Olympic-sized swimming pools, football, basketball, athletics, and gym facilities. I'm talking about Eden Heights, the new destination for luxury in Ghana. Eden Heights is developed with the highest grade of finishing in our penthouses and our 1 to 4 bedroom apartments and is located close to the beach resorts along the Atlantic Ocean, about 30 minutes drive from the airport and 5 minutes walk from the West Hills Mall. Eden Heights is the ideal location for luxury. Visit us at edenheights.com.gh or email to sales@edenheights.com.gh or call us on 050-153-1444 or 050-153-1445 for more information. Eden Heights, welcome home.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, hotels have been asked to fully comply with the recent Bank of Ghana directive on pricing of their services only in the Ghana cities. Now, that's a directive coming from the Hotelier Association to its members. It follows the recent Bank of Ghana instruction that all transactions and pricing should be done only in the local currency. My colleague Charles Aite has been speaking to the association's president, Edward Akanyamike Jr., and he tells Joy Business all members might actually stop pricing their services in dollars.
Bank of Ghana's notice on the matter said that services and products should be quoted in cedis. So we are saying that we agree with the Bank of Ghana on that matter.
Right. You are agreeing to quote in cedis. So does it mean if I'm to walk into any 4-star, 5-star hotel today, I'm going to be seeing quotations in cedis?
I want to believe so. Yes. I want to believe so. They met all the big hotels, can name them from Kempinski to Movenpick to Holiday Inn, Marriott, we met all of them. We all came to that conclusion. Let us quote our services in cedis.
So what happens to those who don't? I said now, you visit their places and things are quoted in dollars.
What happens when you disobey the law? No, I want to believe that our members or the hotel players, the hoteliers are charging or quoting in cedis. I want to believe so. If anybody's quoting dollars, it's infringing on the laws, and we don't want our members to infringe on the laws.
Edward Akanyamike Jr. is the president of the Ghana Hoteliers Association. Now, the total amount of foreign currency deposits held at banks witnessed some significant increase over the past 1 year. Data from the Bank of Ghana showed that it reached $4.1 billion ending June this year. We have the details on these numbers and why some might be worried that it may not be good for the Ghana cedi.
Total foreign currency deposits held by all the banks in the country expressed in the local currency is about 21.6 billion cedis. Now let's do some calculations here. If you use Bank of Ghana's June forex rate, which is 5 cedis 23 per Swiss, and divided by the 21.6 billion cedis, then that should be equal to about $4.1 billion. Well, hope this is not getting you confused. Now, the $4.1 billion is the sum of all the monies that both individuals and businesses have saved with the banks in different currencies. However, for the purpose of calculation and easy understanding, we'll sum everything in dollars. From the Bank of Ghana's data, June foreign deposits went up by more than 20%. The development might be worrying because of its impact on local currency. It is believed that some of these deposits are not meant for economic or business transactions. Some of these practices put a lot of pressures on the cedi, resulting in some serious depreciation against the dollar, a development that increases the cost of goods and services, and least should we forget about its impact on our debt stock and interest payment on our loans.
And that was the business desk report. Now, the president of the Bankers Association, Al-Hassan Andani, is pushing for more education on the part of depositors and businesses to help actually maintain the recent pickup in the banking confidence in the sector. Now, this is coming at a time that recent banking sector reports showed a robust banking sector. Andani says a lot more still needs to be done to ensure that the confidence is sustained.
The bigger banks and financial institutions should play a lead role in educating the entire spectrum of operators in this financial services sector. Because look here, people don't understand the difference between a microfinance company and a bank. They say, I left my money in the bank and they are not paying me. So they use the common word bank. So yes, you are right that we should not relent in trying to educate everybody. And guess what? Even our top clients sometimes know banking more than we think we know. So we can spare ourselves that blushes, but going down and ensuring that we can pull everybody within the spectrum along with decent knowledge, ability to make the right choices.
Al-Hassan Andani is president of the Ghana Association of Bankers. Now, the total number of mobile money accounts witnessed some significant increase over the last 1 year. It reached 32.5 million as at the end of December 2018 from 23 million in 2017. This was contained in the latest Payment Systems Annual Report for 2018. The report showed that 13 million of them were active. The total amount of mobile money held at banks ending December was 2.63 billion Ghana cedis. Now, later development, the number of internet banking customers, however, declined by 12.9% to reach 815,000. Similarly, the value of internet banking transactions also decreased to 9.74 billion from 6.27 billion. Now, Oil Exploration and Production Group, that is Vitol, is promising to respect the country's local content laws as it moves to strongly establish its presence in the oil and gas sectors of the economy. The oil firm is giving the assurance of the finally venturing into the oil exploration business in the country. There are fears that the company's strong financial muscle will lead to the collapse of some small indigenous firms. But the country manager for Vitol, Ghana, Jonathan Norton, insists there is no cause for alarm.
We are a long-term partner for Africa. We believe in strong, capable, competent local partners. We bring our expertise, which is financial capacity, international standard, but we can't do what we do without good local partners. We're not muscling anybody out. We're here to partner with we've had partnerships with many local private companies, with national oil companies, with state entities, and that is how we operate, and that's how we'll continue to do so.
Manager for Vitol, Jonathan Norton, he's explaining things over there. Let's do some stock market news. And MTN was up by 2 pesos to close at 72 pesos. Access Bank was the biggest gainer on the market today and in trading by going up by 9 pesos. So if you hold the Access Bank shares, now worth 2 Ghana cedis, 99 pesos. And that's all for business on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, George. You seem excited. That's good.
Well, you're still listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. Before business, we asked for the situation in your area, if you live around the whole municipality because of the water situation. Some of your comments and thoughts have been coming in. This one from Eric. He says, water is not flowing at Have, a town close to Kweve in the Volta region. This one also from George. He writes from Ho. He says, Honorable John Nelson Kwesi Aholi, Municipal Chief Executive, said this evening the taps are running, but I am yet to see water flowing through my taps, even though he says the water started flowing yesterday.
Well, this one says, please, it is not true that water is flowing in every part of Ho. I am staying at Ho's net flat and there is no water flowing through my tap. This one also says, the same person says, I heard our MCE say they fixed the problem. My area, Fascom, there's no water flowing here. That's from Sal in Ho. And again, this one also says, water is not flowing at Badegbe Avenue near the whole stadium. It's coming from Mami.
And this one from Wogbe. He says, I live in Ho. As at the time I am typing this message, no drop of water at the Snitz Flats. Thank you very much for that. There's also another one. It says, how can the country develop when successive governments fail to continue projects started by previous governments? That's Benjamin Lamfrey. He sends that one from Kumasi. Also, Ghana is failing because MMDAs are failing the nation. Officials are on the rampage on doing all the regulations. In fact, town planning officers are creating more inner cities by colluding with developers, including churches, to bend the rules. That's Alex Jokoto. He sends that one in from Ho.
Keep your comments coming. We'll share it for the rest of the world. Right now, though, the Ghana Journalists Association is condemning an attack on Adom TV's correspondent in the OT region during the parliamentary primaries of the NDC over the weekend. Obrimpongba Kwame Owusu is the correspondent for Adom TV. He joins me on the line. Hello, Kwame.
Hello, my sister. Good evening.
Good evening. Tell us what happened.
All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I think on Saturday, we all know that the NDC and the country went to the polls to elect their parliamentary candidates. So as the course of it, we were there to observe the election process and see that we can also report to our listeners and viewers to know what is happening at the various constituencies and to ensure that maybe the right thing is done. So at the process, we were there. In fact, the election was so smooth and it was so calm. There was nothing. There was no mayor. There's nothing. So at the end of the day, when the sorting and counting began, one of the candidates, after field counting for one of the candidates, there's a ballot. That's Richard Manu would be. There was some misunderstanding between the camp of that aspiring candidate, who is Richard Manu would be, and then the incumbent MP, Honorable Joseph supporters. They were engaged in some brawls, and at the end of it, we wanted to take some coverage and then ask maybe the cause of the violence or that misunderstanding. And so in the process, when I was there taking the footage, all that I could receive was a huge slap from the constituency secretary, Prince Francis Shagaji. Why was I taking the footage at the time that there was that chaos of misunderstanding between the two? So that's what happened. So I reported the case to the police and I was issued with the medical form. I went to the hospital that same night. Couldn't meet the medical officers to sign the form for me. And the following day too was Sunday. I couldn't get the doctor to endorse the form for me. So yesterday, Monday, I was able to meet them and they endorsed the form for me. And they sent back to the police. And I reported myself to them again and asked them so far with their investigation and how far they've gotten.
Okay. So you said that he slapped you, and we understand that your camera was also destroyed in the process.
Yes, he slapped me, and my gadget that I was using in taking the footage was also damaged. So yes, he slapped me, and my gadget was also damaged.
Okay. Well. Let's this evening a statement has been issued by the Ghana Journalists Association in the Volta region. We'll be talking to the GJA president there, Anthony Bells Kafui Kani. But the statement says that the attention of the GJA, of the Ghana Journalists Association, has been drawn to the barbaric attack carried out on Adom TV correspondent in the OT region, Mr. Obrimpongba Kwame Owusu, last Saturday by the National Democratic Congress primaries in the Nkwanta South constituency by the Secretary, Prince Succeed Fiagaji. Let's get on the line and speak to the chairman of the GJA in the Volta region. Mr. Kani, thank you for your time this evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So the reporter, we've just spoken to the reporter who is narrating his ordeal to us. You followed up with the police and the police is investigating, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
What else did the police tell you about this investigation they are carrying out?
Yeah, we are told the suspect has been picked and is on bail and asked to be reporting at the police station. But what we are saying is that for us in the Volta region, GJA, you touch one, you touch all. So we are not taking this kindly at all. We are not going to entertain such bigots. We are open for talks, for discussions. But if we are pushed, one, as we said in our statement, we are calling for an unqualified apology to the journalist authority in the region. And then we are asking that the damaged camera be replaced. And if we are pushed, as I said, we talk to our lawyers and we ask that his medical bills are paid. And if need be, some compensation is given him. Because we don't see why somebody, going by his duty, will be brutally attacked the manner he was. We are not happy about the development.
Have you discussed these demands with party executives in the region?
Yes, we called the Volta Regional Secretary of the party, and he told me he was going to confer with his OT counterparts. We tried ourselves a couple of times. We didn't get through. But the statement came out because we are spoken with the police, and we thought we had enough grounds to issue the statement because the police confirmed that they have picked the guy and they are investigating the issue.
Very well. Thank you very much for your time. Anthony Bells Kafui Kanye is president of the Volta Regional chairman of the Ghana Journalists Association. It's quite sad that we keep talking about this and people or journalists keep being abused in the line of duty. Let's do some sports.
Hey,
Hey.
Nice dress.
Drop your ando at this time when I'm here.
I can't drop that. You look like you just won a gold medal for Ghana.
Go ahead with sports.
Right, so it's raining gold on Ghana at the Africa Games, and Team Ghana has bagged the first gold medal at the ongoing Africa Games in Rabat, Morocco, after 9 days of competition. The first 5 days yielded no medals, but the floodgates opened after 17-year-old Winifred Ntumi won 3 bronze medals in weightlifting. David Akwe won another bronze to bring Ghana's medal count to 4 as of yesterday. Well, just over a couple of hours ago, Rose Yeboah bagged Ghana's first gold medal at the Games as she cleared a height of 1.84 meters in the women's high jump. But the day hasn't been without disappointment as Joseph Amoah and Sean Safo Entry finished 4th and 5th respectively in the men's 100 meters final. The spotlight now falls on Grace Obour, who was qualified for the women's 400 meters finals scheduled for tomorrow. That's your sports.
Thank you very much, Hans Mensah Andor. We're still inviting your comments and thoughts on 0244340437. But let's do some other stories now. And the concerned citizens of Sisala are demanding the immediate closure of a wood factory located in Tumu, which they accuse of harvesting and processing rosewood and other tree species in blatant disregard of a recent ban. The youth in a petition also accused the company Bakupon and Lee Sokun for operating without a permit in the area. Osman Canton, a convener for the group, says the activities of a company are not in the interest of the people of the area.
We want the assembly who now tell us that they haven't issued any such permit to the company. We want them to ensure that the company closes down. There is evidence that these people are dealing in rosewood, which has recently been banned by government. And so if there's a ban on all related activities on rosewood, and these people are here processing rosewood, and in fact, more worrying to us as citizens of the assembly is the fact that they are actually also cutting our own shea trees. Yesterday we were there and we found out that they are cutting shea trees. And so we expect the assembly to move in immediately, close down the factory since they don't even have any permit, ensure that they evacuate. We don't want them. Their activities are injurious. Their activities are dangerous to the livelihoods of the majority of the people of this municipality who are principally farmers. Yesterday, we got a statistic that the Sisala East and Sisala West districts alone produce about 40% of this country's maize. If we resort to cutting down the already desert-prone area, you can imagine the amount of threat we are putting on the livelihoods of the people.
So you heard there Osman Canton. He is a convener for the concerned citizens of Sisala. We are glad to be joined on the telephone line by the DCE for Sisala East, Karimu Nonyo. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us here on Newsnight. How did the assembly look on for a company without permit to log rosewood and other endangered species? Asking, how did the assembly look on for a company without permits, we are told, to log rosewood and other endangered species?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I think the statement is not accurate. that assembly look on for a company without permit to lock on. Yes, it is a responsibility of assembly to oversee everything, but it is not possible for you to see everything at the same time. So it is not as if the assembly is looking on for a company without a permit to be engaged in rosewood logging.
Okay, so what did the assembly do specifically about this company and its activities?
Yes, when our attention is drawn to the fact that the assembly, there's a company being established for timber. So I think the assembly understanding of that company is not much. So what we did immediately was we wrote to the company and then halted all the activities of the company. The assembly have also requested the company to bring all his documentations where he has actually gotten his authority to do the operation for further investigations.
And has the company official submitted those documents?
The company has complied. As we speak, we've even locked up the whole place. The company has complied to all those things. Some of his equipment has been taken to the police station for those investigations to be carried out.
You speak about shutting down this company, but the concerned citizens of Sisala, they petitioned your office. What immediate actions are going to be taken, because they seem to suggest that there's still some illegal activity ongoing in this company?
Yes, as I said, they can never be smoked without fire, because they started these rumors about a week ago, and we wrote to him before the partition. And even after the partition, we've also intensified our monitoring to make sure that the company has halted. As I speak to you, tomorrow we are having the meeting to decide what to do, to look at the partition, the merits of the partition, and then possibly communicate officially to the owner of the company as to what to do.
Can you say for a fact that it is not rosewood felling that is happening in this area?
That will not be something that I will want to say. The whole process, as I said, seems to be illegal. And if it is a rosewood, then everybody, as for me, for instance, I am aware there's a ban on rosewood, and everybody in this country is aware of the ban. So if somebody who is engaged in this illegality, I think it's something that is serious.
All right, thank you very much. We'll be monitoring that meeting you say you will be convening with some of the officials of this company, and we'll bring that to our listeners here on 99.7 FM. That was the District Chief Executive Officer for Sisala East, Karimu Nanyo, speaking to us.
Well, let's talk about Lotto, or lotteries, and those who love lottery, because the Association of Lotto Marketing Companies is tonight giving the National Lottery Authority a 2-week ultimatum to clamp down on illegal lotto operators, popularly known as banker-to-banker. The association says it will cease its operations if the National Lottery Authority continues to delay processes to streamline the activities of these illegal private lotto operators. The association, however, says the authority cannot back down on its clamp down on illegal lotto operators. General Secretary of the association, Kofi Frimpong, told a news conference on Tuesday the NLA cannot continue to encourage the illegality.
NLA has been putting in measures to sort of streamline the operations and then also to curtail, the nefarious activities of these banker-to-banker people. But if we realize that NLA is dilly-dallying and they are not taking steps to ensure that all these measures come into fruition, we'll advise ourselves. We are saying that 2 weeks, we'll be monitoring NLA's activities so far as this matter is concerned. The licensing, of those that will present themselves, and also the training of the retailers so that machines will be allocated to them, the point of sales terminals will be allocated to them. Then we know that, they are on course, so that we know that at least in course of time, there will be sanity in the system. But if we realize that after 1 week, nothing is going on, then we'll be alarmed. We'll prompt them, we'll write to them and tell them that we've realized that whatever they are doing, which we think is in the right direction, is not being done. So until such and such dates, we want to advise ourselves. We will organize our people either to boycott NLA until we see that they are doing the right thing.
Well, that's the General Secretary of the Lotto Marketing Companies, Kofi Frimpong. There.
And Gifty, I'm sure this has come to you quite a lot because you're a presenter. I mean, how do you deal with some of these courtesies that our guests put up? The good evening to you, good evening to your listeners, good evening to my friends.
You keep quiet and hope that it gets over soon.
Well, I've been speaking to some presenters in the Joy Newsroom. While some think it is irritating, others think we should just allow it to pass.
Well, thank you
very much, Araba. Very good evening to all your viewers.
Thank you very much, and good evening to our listeners.
Well, same script, different actors. Maybe not deliberate, but the coincidence is stark. Those who are politicians sometimes amend the scripts to extend a warm one to their constituents. But did you know that at least 15 seconds or more of valuable broadcast airtime is spent on these during live interviews? Let's track these.
Well, thank you very much, Araba. Very good evening to all your viewers.
Thank you very much, and good evening to our listeners.
Well, good evening, and good evening to your customers.
Thank you very much, and I want to greet your listeners.
For a Ghanaian setting known to have very hospitable and welcoming people, it is no surprise, and gradually it's become just the new normal. And just like perhaps walking past someone in the streets like they were not there, these resource persons feel a duty to reach out to the audiences who they speak to. But for the presenters, it can be off-putting and sometimes irritating.
The one that gets me angry is when you are on TV and the person is like, good evening to you and your cherished listeners. And again, when you are running out of time and you just want him to make a point or two, and he goes all round, greeting all the members of his constituency or members in his community and all of that is so annoying. So when you call them or when they call, the first thing is, let me say a very good evening to you and say good evening to your listeners. I also want to say good evening to my constituents. Like, please cut that out. That's time going. That's time wasting.
But not all the presenters feel slighted by this. One of them says it's just fine if it is on a more relaxed show.
If it's a discussion show, yeah, it's good to show the human side of things. So I think we can tolerate that, to say hello to the people.
But if it is the news, let it be the news, they say.
But if it's a short bulletin and I need the information, you can't go and be telling me good morning to your brothers and sisters and everybody back home.
Well, as I speak this minute, another guest somewhere is greeting cherished listeners or viewers, and another politician is reaching out to his constituents. Not exactly a crime. Maybe the call is to keep it short and simple.
Thank you very much, and I want to greet your listeners.
Welcome. Good evening to my grandmother. Good evening to my mother. Let me say good evening also to my teachers. And good evening. Good evening to MFR Pau and
good evening to Evans
Mensah,
Mensah. Good evening to Elvis Kwashi. Good evening to everybody. That's our show for tonight. For more news, you log on to myjawline.com.
My name is Gifty Andopia.
I am Komladum.